got it in him. A goal and they lead. A behind and it's tight. He hits the top of the square. Up they fly. Big leap. Couldn't bring it down though, Burgess. There it is. Stuff of dreams in the end. Could have been their worst nightmare for the Saints. A win ripped from the fire.
Billings having a shot. What a huge goal in every respect for St Kilda. They need a mark here. Spoiled by the Saints and they hold on again. They beat the Suns by less than a kick for the third time in a row.
Ryder at the back. Can he wind back the clock? He gives it to Butler. He's streaming forward for goal number 4. Magnificent. Got to be clean. Holman slapped it to Ellis. Going the wrong way. That'll do it. The Saints hang on in a Thursday night classic.
Some incredible recent history between these sides. The Saints have won the last 4 by a total of 11 points only. 4 points, 1 and 2. Hopefully we get something similar this afternoon. Perfect conditions. Alistair Lynch, what a place to be.
Yeah, absolutely, Howie. We should see another cracking game. As you said, it's perfect conditions up here on the Gold Coast, 26 degrees. And no doubt it'll come down to the midfield battle, as in most games, but in particular, it'll be the impact of Rowan Marshall and Paddy Ryder on this game. Now, we know St Kilda have got off to a slow, frustrating start to the season, and we've seen without either of their best 2 ruckmen, it has certainly made a big impact on their ability to win clearances and actually score from clearances. We saw Paddy Ryder, he's been in the side alone, essentially, for 2 games. Things started to turn around. They were in the positive for scores from clearances and once again getting their hands on the ball from those stoppage situations. And the other thing, the big concern for the Gold Coast Suns is last week. Paddy Ryder comes in for his first game, combines beautifully with Rowan Marshall, and they belted Hawthorn in the middle of the ground and on the scoreboard with a 69-point win at Marvel Stadium. So massive task for Caleb Graham and Chris Burgess. They've both done a fantastic job so far. Probably steps up a little bit more today.
Spot on, Lynchy. It was absolutely enormous last week. Paddy Ryder coming back into the side.
10 years, right? Hold, 10 years. 10 years. Okay, thank you.
So it looks like after some confusion that the Saints have won the toss with Jack Steele. They'll kick to the left. Good afternoon to Jordan Lewis and Jack Riewoldt. Ripping afternoon for football.
It is, Howie, and look at the weather up there on the Gold Coast. So I'm envious, maybe not so Jack at the moment, but
I'd be in the shade up there, Howie.
Lynchy touched on it. The ruck battle is crucial to this game to give their midfielders first use, and both those guys in Graham and Burgess are undersized. So the midfield of the Gold Coast Suns need to be aware of the dominance, especially Ryder in the centre bounce, and become a little bit more tighter in that area of the game to try and nullify that and hopefully break even.
The other one as well is the ability to bring Ryder back into the side allows Marshall to push forward. A lot of the focus is going to be on the King twins and where they play up forward, but Marshall going forward provides St Kilda with that secondary option, and then you get the third in Membry as well, so he starts to get a third defender as well. So Paddy Ryder, a massive inclusion, and we saw that last week. And
now Mason Wood into the side, so maybe bringing Mason Wood into the side, they're really going to try and stretch the Gold Coast defence. So when you've got so many tools in your forward line, Jack, do you try and work together, or are you better off to separate and try and isolate the 1v1s?
I think isolate is the way to go, Geordie. Maybe initially crossing over, but the one thing that comes with taller players, and you sort of look at taller players as marking players, is where does the pressure come from? You see Higgins, Butler and Loney, there's going to be a lot of emphasis on those guys putting pressure around the ball.
That is the parents of the King boys, Marnie and Brooke. Tough afternoon.
Well, they haven't put on a jumper.
Win-win, yeah.
Which is a good result.
It would be rough if they're both in the same jumper. All right, we're set for a start. You'll see Collins when he turns around. He's got the white zinc all over his face. Very warm afternoon on the Gold Coast. Both sides 3 and 4. We're underway on Saturday afternoon football. Graham, we heard a massive job for him, and immediately Ryder with the first toss. Gets it out towards Markov. Coming back the other way as a free kick going the way of the Suns. And it'll be the way of Flanders.
Thank you. Stand.
Stands in the middle of Metricon. Sends a deep ball forward. First opportunity for one of the King boys. Jones, enormous last week. Swallows got him immediately.
We spoke about the King boys, but you've got to touch on Corbett. Had one of the games of his life last week. Just provides an aerial presence up there for the Gold Coast Suns.
Ryder working to get the front position. Jones, as I said, had a tremendous game last week. And he goes as far as Powell. Will Payer often has that right knee strapped up. Gets very deep to the pocket, makes it difficult for everyone, and Wilkie just floats back.
But it's a deep kick, and it's to a position where you can defend behind it, but it's just not dangerous. As a forward, you want that kick at the top of the goal square.
The Saints trying to clear it. We've got Alistair Lynch with his 3 premierships, Jordan Lewis with his 4, and Jack Revolt with his 3 so far. Joining us on Saturday afternoon football, goes to Swallow. Tries a little slider inside 50, and it's good. So that is the man you mentioned, Corbett. He's had a really nice start to the season. Plays on Corbett. With a quick hand pass to Lukosius. He hooks it, and it's through for the opening score of the afternoon.
Like Lukosius off half-back, he's become a very good user. Obviously, highly touted youngster, but the ability for him to impact around the ground, especially off half-back, has been valuable for the Suns so far.
Howard shorts it to Wilkie. Goes further down the line.
And Jack, on the back of that, I think no doubt Gold Coast, for the first time in several years, their entries inside 50 are very good these days, whereas in the past they probably blasted their way in. But on the back of the ball movement from the likes of Lukosius, they're lowering the eyes and hitting targets are much better.
But let's be honest, if you're a forward and you take your first mark inside forward 50, are you really handballing it to a half-back?
Not for mine, Geordie, not for mine.
No chance.
Greenwood. And a great start to the season. Markov outside of the boot. Shallow entry inside 50. The Saints track back through Sinclair. He's the one with the long hair. Now Crouch gives it back in that direction. Tries to go inboard. Doesn't pay off. Miller will send it back immediately where it came. Pressure on the Saints defence. And King takes a strong mark to get things underway.
The ability for King to slip Howard there is that Howard sort of got caught ball watching a little bit. But as a forward, when you can't impact directly, either on offence or defence, usually it's a pretty good option to make your way deep forward towards the goal square. And obviously caught him out there. Howard still watching the ball, and now we see Ben King having a shot on goal, which he won't hand off, Geordie.
25 goals last year. He's already kicked 20 this season from a tightish angle. Sneaks it home. First blood for the Gold Coast Suns.
So are we seeing that more with forwards, Jack? Now, this was a shallow turnover. You'd love to take Sinclair, take that long kick, but are forwards keeping themselves a lot deeper these days than they have in the past?
It's a hard one. Some players are different. I still think you need the pressure up. The turnover comes from the forwards. It took Miller, who's playing high forward, actually gets a turnover. But key forwards want to head back to the goal square for mine.
And that's the thing, as a defender, you can't get get caught ball watching, because a good forward slips out the back. So the moment you take your eyes off your opponent, and if you're a really crafty forward, you get into a dangerous zone where the defender cannot see you. So if there is a shallow turnover, you've got a dominant position.
Opening goal for Ben King for the Suns. Hand pass dished out from Ryder. Crouch. Back to Hill. Strides through the middle of Metricon. Wobbles the ball forward. There's another King at the other end of the ground. Exciting afternoon for the King boys. Miller measures a ball. Flanders does well. Immediately dishes by hand. In the end, a little bit too quick for Swallow. He scrubs it away off the bottom of the pack. Ellis in game 200's involved. And again, it's Miller on the wing.
Well, they didn't make the most of that inside 50, St Kilda, but it's been a trend of theirs this year. We didn't see it last week, but their high half forwards getting past the drop of the ball, which provides no defensive structure.
Miller down the line, floating across is Greenwood.
He's been a star for the Gold Coast in the last 18 months.
He's been incredible, hasn't he? They go forward again towards King. Tries to release a hand pass, tackle immediately applied. The Saints working hard in defence out toward Jones. 37 disposals last week.
He was on fire.
Yeah, he was. Career best, and he started nicely today down the line.
His halftime stats last week were off the charts. Now you can see these midfielders, especially from St Kilda, just benefited so much from the tap work and the dominance of Paddy Ryder.
High contact, St Kilda.
It's a free kick battle, takes the advantage. Doesn't really help your side with the kick going forward. And the Suns pick it up in defence.
Play on.
Holman across his goals.
Play on.
Ballard, he's got a further option, uses it.
Stand.
Former teammate of yours, Jack.
Play on.
Markov.
It's been good for halfback
Play on.
for the Suns this year.
Geez, he looks fit.
Very, very athletically gifted, Howie.
Play on.
A pole vaulting fraternity.
Of course, his father did hold the world record at one time in the pole vault. Dimitri.
Well, that would be the pole vaulting fraternity
Yep.
there.
Play on.
They drive it forward. Burgess was good last week, especially early. Sent it deep inside 50.
Great, go.
Yeah, Burgess has really developed over the last few weeks. Slow start for the last couple of seasons, but yeah, his hands are good. But he runs a under or a sub 6 minute 2K as well. So elite company when it comes to running. So that helps to get the one-on-one contest or the easy marks, more to the point.
Free kicked away the Suns, and there he is.
I like that, and probably one of the deficiencies in Paddy Ryder's game, and the reason why they can sometimes play two ruck is his endurance base. So if you've got the ability to run Paddy Ryder, use that.
Burgess kicked the opening goal against Collingwood in about the first 20 seconds last week. Hooks that one slightly.
Well, they're certainly getting their fair share of dominance. The ball played in their half, 7 inside 50s to Gold Coast and only 2 to St Kilda. So they just need to maximise this period of the game.
Howard to restart things.
And just so I don't give Burgess unwanted or unearned endurance ability, it was Corbett that was the sub 6 minute runner.
He'll claim it. Goes to the wing.
I was more your 6 minute 1K sort of setup.
Well, you're talking our language, Lynchy.
Yeah. You don't want to waste it.
Caleb. Rowan.
Caleb Graham in game just 15. He's got a big task tonight. This afternoon, Anderson. Powell hooks it round his body. Good marking effort by Ainsworth. Coming through is Weller, skillful player. Back to Touk Miller. Assesses options inside 50. Goes deep towards the pocket, Saints. Corbett makes a good contest to Harvard and finds the boundary line in front of Joyce.
Good to see the Suns midfielders there. You see Weller and Miller both working from the contest to be in their next contest involved in that inside 50. Shows the work rate that those two players have got.
Jack Rewalt, Jordan Lewis, Alistair Lynch, Saturday afternoon football. Holman stripped of the football. Goes the way of Jones.
And Jack, is that something you've noticed watching the Gold Coast Suns? Because watching them at ground level, their ability to run from contest to contest is very good this year compared to past years.
Certainly, Lynchy, probably conditions help as well, I think, training up there. So, as you see here, another mark inside 50.
Back to Burgess.
Our man Burgess. I suppose also there's evolution, Geordie, as you know, as a midfielder as well, that you come through juniors and all of a sudden you find the ability to actually work and become a good midfielder through work rate.
West Adelaide, Burgess from right on 50. Again, doesn't make the most of his opportunities.
I think it's also where you structure up around the stoppage. Usually if you're at the forward part of the stoppage, you've probably got a licence to really get in there and attack, whereas if you're the last to leave the stoppage, you're more defensive.
Caulfield through his defensive zone, finds Billings. He wants to go immediately by hand with a 1-2. Back to Caulfield, good runner. Driving ball out to a contest on the wing. Ryder's got a little bit of space on Ballard. Nice build-up from the Saints. Slowed up now. Chips towards the pocket, coming across as Powell. He can't impact it. And Wood, the late inclusion for Seb Ross, who's out with twins, if you can understand what I'm talking about there. Comes back towards Touk Miller. Higgins throws it onto a boot, had no room. High ball. Yeah, if you're just joining us, and I'm not sure Seb Ross is watching after having twins yesterday, but congratulations to him and his wife, Marnie.
Right in the thick of it, Howie. Have you experienced that?
Play on.
It was his birthday as well, so it's quite the present.
Play on. Play on.
Ainsworth. Ellis. Driven along the wing by the Suns. But I did read this week in the paper about a lady that had tuplets.
9?
Geordie, she had 9.
Yeah, no thank you.
No, thank you.
That's a busy couple of mornings to get things underway, I would have thought. Ryan Burns comes back to the near side. Good ball. Battle. Gets away from Webster. Ainsworth comes back the other way. Free kick.
It's happened a few times tonight, just dropped marks. Is it Dewey up there, Lynchy?
Nah, not at all. It is pristine conditions for the beach, I would have thought. Realistically, it's probably a little warm. In the shade, it's okay, but no dew, that's for sure.
Joyce running back into position. So good early start from the Suns. They've got the opening goal through Ben King. Had a couple more opportunities. They haven't been able to take in front of goal. Weller, a little bit of space. Now Swallow, little chipping ball. Doesn't quite bring it back enough, but they are dominating up forward at the moment, the Suns. Not
Slick
really
hands
making
around the
most of it.
contest.
Yeah.
Slick hands around the contest is what's, I suppose, undersized in the ruck, but the ability to win the ball when it hits the ground is the thing that's helping the Suns at the moment.
Billings. Over the back of Farah. Athletic type. Traces back in front of Membry, who comes into the game on 199 goals. Lemons, game 100. To Swallow. Powell. Aggressive ball to Anderson. He's got Ellis forward of the footy. Doesn't go that way. Further wide by hand. Back to Corbett. Anderson involved again. Looks in towards the attacking area, but it was beautifully read by Brad Hill. Do you like him off half-back?
Yeah, I do. It just frees him up a little bit. It really does. It allows him to work through the back half of the ground and then usually really use his endurance. But you could see that inside 50 because the last two have gone to the boundary. That inside 50 was more central. The forwards weren't set up for it, so just a disconnect there.
Pytel short to Webster. Goes back and across. Billings to the wing. Membry.
Both sides just feeling each other out, hoping to possess the ball in the back half. We know the way Gold Coast want to play, but St Kilda were a lot faster last week, but they just haven't been allowed to play that free-flowing game so far.
Howard completes the transition back to the near side. Caulfield inboard.
Another drop mark.
Seen a few of them. That was Hunter Clark. Goes to Butler. Recommitted to the Saints this week. Jones just pokes it inside 50. Falls to Marshall. The big man does well, but his kick is smothered. Suns under pressure. Anderson delays the hand pass, gets himself out of trouble to Burgess. Weller. Ellis almost gets in his teammate's way. Now Powell, steps one, steps two. He's got a serious problem.
Yeah, great pressure. Obviously down the field, everyone was covered off defensively, so he had to try and make it up. It just took too long with the ball, which allowed him to come in and make the tackle. Good pressure by Steele.
Drops at 30 from home. Max King's caught behind. Butler nearly kept the ball in.
Not a lot of movement inside 50 there for the Saints. Just sort of hoping for that big contested mark. I'd like to see the Smalls maybe get on the move a little bit whilst they're there for their crumbing ability, and they're very good at it. Just a lead-up option to maybe make the Suns defenders a little bit more accountable.
Ben King with the only goal of the match. And a tight set shot. Brother Max towards Bowes. Overruns the footy. Jones, can he get a squaring ball away? Comes back to Webster. Only just the required distance, is it? Mark paid to Steele.
But I like that kick because if you don't take that kick early, well, the Gold Coast shut that one down. Then you've got to go back into a slow play. Probably the kick you make next is to the top of the goal square to a big pack mark. So that little kick inside 50 is either on really early or really late. So it's a smart decision.
Slight breeze over his right shoulder, so will assist slightly.
2020 best and fairest winner. Just crosses the 50. Hooks it again.
Only the 5 inside 50s for St Kilda, so they just haven't been able to dominate that area of the ground. The ball has lived in the Gold Coast forward half. And you can see there, just the slower ball movement from Gold Coast allows St Kilda to set up defensively.
Bowes to true centre half back. To Collins, who hands it past straight to his opponent. Butler, does he make him pay? He doesn't.
That's got to be a score assist. How about that one?
Collins in the zinc to Butler in the zinc. I believe he had it in his hands there, Dan Butler. There's a hold on the jumper. So the Saints again try and reload off the wing. A little bit too much on it for Sinclair. Burns to Jones. Good tackle.
It's good pressure. Good pressure again from the Gold Coast Suns. Just not allowing time and space. We saw last week that the Saints were able to do what they wanted around stoppages and around the ground, but the pressure from the Gold Coast has been really good to start the game.
Playing that chip style of game, then trying to get a little bit of speed on the ball with their run, but the Suns at the moment have just had the ability to get that little tackle in, get that little knock in, and we've seen even with a couple of drop marks, just the referred pressure then as well.
Underground ball finds Powell. Somewhat luckily, Markov with a nice move forward. Saints at ground level. Marshall with a hard hand pass to Gather. They'll get a free kick though. It's by Tell, the recipient. Burns. Sinclair. Billings back to Wilkie. It's like they're just dancing around the ring at the moment, these two sides.
Yeah, they are, and that's the handball you need to break the pie open.
Can they do it this time with Wilkie with a long ball forward? Membry with a big fly. Going the way of the Suns.
You've really got to put the defence, in that instance, the defence from Gold Coast under pressure. So if you're wanting to chip around in the back half and chip it towards the boundary, well, that not only lets Gold Coast have a rest, it's too easy to defend.
Mark completed by Billings. Wants someone towards him. Again, it's a high ball forward. Powell's in the hole. And again, they're looking for that big mark, Jack, and you said you want some shorter options on.
Just want to have both options, Howie, in terms of, you know, you've got King down there and you know you've got Membry for that aerial, but the small lead-ups are the ones that will draw the oppo up.
Ainsworth towards the flank. Good contest between King and Howard. Hill, bit too much on the handball.
Great work rate from Bradley Hill to be in the defensive forward 50 for St Kilda, and then once the ball started to transition, to get back and help his defence.
Being stood at the moment by Flanders.
So St Kilda are outplaying Gold Coast at their own game. Gold Coast are really high in marks taken. St Kilda have taken the same approach.
Greenwood wobbles the ball forward. Bit of push and a bit of shove. Well done by Holman. Mark paid. Probably looked to dish it off. Tries to get around where the umpire was. Slides the ball deep. Bit of manhandling. King goes down. Umpire says that's all okay, and Howard takes the mark.
Well, it's just a poor kick. What you want the ability to run and jump at the ball. It's just too far on King's head there.
See it in the replay. Jones. To a vacant space. Racing two. Butler and Collins. Boundary line beats them both.
And it's probably the area that both sides could maybe tidy up, has been those inside 50 entries. Geordie, back to the marks. Do you think it's a plan from St Kilda, or is it more the point that the Gold Coast are really getting strong behind the ball? Yeah, and that's the only option they do have to take those.
Yeah, I think Gold Coast have really tightened up defensively. We saw at St Kilda last week. They wanted to play fast. They just haven't been allowed to in the first quarter.
Graham, two-handed. Down to no one in particular. Anderson under the pump. Tuke Miller looked like he got one a bit high. Umpire lets them go. Ryder back with the flight. Already exerting an influence in this game. Second game of the year is fantastic. Rejoining his side last week. Centre wing. Inboard to Howard.
Stand. Go. As I called it. Stand.
So don't worry about it. He missed the handball to Bradley Hill right then because he was too worried about trying to trick the man on the mark.
There's been a bit of that going on in recent weeks. Finds Billings. Back to Hill.
Every Gold Coast player behind the ball here. That's why the Saints are playing this little chip game and can't get the speed on that worked for them last week.
Comes to the far side. Good contest from Max King. Lemons picks it up and accelerates. Tuke Miller back to Lemons. Tight on the boundary line, or need to be precise, and it goes to Wilkie.
And the offside of having everyone behind the ball is that you have no one in front of the ball there. So
the third or fourth drop mark we've seen.
It's a Bermuda Triangle there.
Wilkie bustles it clear. Weller arrives on the scene. Flanders jumps a couple of teammates.
It could only be sweat rolling down the arms of the players, I would think.
Miller with a good ball. To Burgess. Swallow. Come towards him in the pocket. Good-looking ball forward. Crouch impacted the contest. He might not have touched the football, but he certainly impacted it as Miller drops it to a dangerous zone. And that's pushing the face, the back, whatever you want. It's a free kick to Billings.
Yeah, just took his eyes off the ball. What umpires want to see in that instance is you turn late, so you face the ball. I understand that Jack didn't like it because it's a mark inside the forward 50, but once you take your eyes off the ball and you make contact, free kick.
A real shake of the head by the big Tiger forward beside us. Big fly! The mark is paid to Graham. Wonderful effort in the air. But it's a round where you're going to struggle to take mark of the round, to be honest, after your man last night, Jack. Dishes it off to Bowes. Slides the ball forward. Holman can't complete the mark. Markov bursts through the pack, hooks the kick. Were you under that mark last night?
Forward pocket. Forward pocket. I've clipped it up for us, Howie. No doubt we'll have a look at it maybe at half-time.
Okay, I look forward to that. Good grab.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage to go that way too.
Could have hurt himself on the way down. Thankfully, he's okay. Ball to be won. Suns do that. Powell, been prevalent early. Back to Bowes. 1-2 to Powell. Forward towards Burgess. Spoiled. Ainsworth tries to keep the ball in but can't manage it.
Stayed in, Howie.
Did stay in.
I thought I heard a whistle as well. Just kept it alive.
Right now we've got Powell, Bowes, Markov and Lukosius all playing half-back for Gold Coast. High possession numbers, clearly just setting up behind the ball. Dominant inside forward 50 at the moment. They've been able to use the ball when that's come out from the Saints.
Goals hard to come by. Ryder and Graham. Steele taps it forwards. Crouch was looking one in the back.
Neither is really working at the moment, but the inside 50 entries for Gold Coast look much better. As Jack, you touched on, needing the small or mid-forwards to be leading, create space behind. That's what the Gold Coast are doing, whereas the other end is just slow and bombing to the top of the square for St Kilda.
Now still in Jordan Lewis, Jack Rewalt on Saturday afternoon footy. Weller, fist was worth a kick. Drives it to a dangerous position. Coming out hard is Joyce. And the outside of the boot, Gaelic-style kick was effective. Billings wants to take it and go and does just that to Steele.
See, they want the ball in motion, but what Gold Coast are willing to give up is that kick to the boundary that I think St Kilda have taken too often too early. That play needed to stay in motion.
Joyce with a second possession in a minute. Battle. Jones, nice step. Can hit a target going forward with a low ball. Collins all over King, does well to not give away the free kick. Lemons mops up, tries to clear his defensive zone and does it well. Corbett, powerful operator. This is good from the Suns. They take the Swallow. It comes laterally to Miller. Hard running ahead of Miller. Puts it out in front of Weller. Hill immediately calls his man, strips him of the footy. Well done, Brad Hill.
Yeah, great tackle. Probably saved a goal. You could see there Swallow and Ellis coming back into that conversation. So if Weller was able to hold that ball a little bit longer, shrug the tackle, that would have been two options. So that's an important tackle.
Billings with 11, Miller with 10 for their respective sides.
Just haven't been able to generate any handball receives either. So Gold Coast have been really good defensively, but you still need to provide and show up to get a handball receive.
This one really to light itself up so far. Collins, Miller, Anderson.
Love the start of his game here, Noah Anderson. Him and Dave Swallow, I reckon, have really set the tone for getting the ball. We're going to see Dave Swallow get it here again, working all over the ground.
Long hand pass. Corbett needed to release it, only could get it as far as Billings. Now Sinclair running out of time on the clock. Crouch needs to drive it forward. He wants something, he needs something. Does it come with a high ball? Can the Saints take a late mark? Marshall put himself in position. Bowes releases it back to Anderson. That should be the end of the action for the term. So only one goal for the term. It was off the boot of Ben King, kicked it early, and then both sides just feeling each other out. It's a warm day on the coast. 26 degrees at the moment. The Suns lead it at quarter time over the Saints. 1-4, 10 to 3 behind. Saturday afternoon football from Queensland.
The Gold Coast Suns 33 handball receives, St Kilda 24. And last week with the Saints, it was speed on the ball, and you've harped on it, Geordie, already. Speed on the ball, and that gets the ability to get those lead-up marks inside 50, play into the hands of Ben King. At the moment, the only way they're looking at scoring is a contested mark, and the two contested marks they've taken are Dougal Howard and Callum Wilkie in the back line.
Set for a start in the second term. Only one goal early off the boot of Ben King. Ellis, game 200, out towards Touk Miller. Goes back by hand. And the Suns progress it towards the wing. Saints have got the numbers through Sinclair. Back to Brad Hill. Three-time premiership player with the Hawks. Best and fairest winner at Fremantle. And now the Saints.
Even there, those three possessions go inside, and then Zach Jones comes back here. And you see now in the picture that all the Gold Coast defenders are on this side of the ground.
So you're saying that the easiest way to get flow on the ball and to get players into open spaces is try and use the fat side of the ground. So get out into the open. Don't turn back skinny where all the players just come from, because there's always congestion.
Exactly right, Geordie.
Graham and Ryder. Paddy started the game well. Two hands. Ellis is awake to that. He's taken across the line. Does it get frustrating to play in a game like this, Jack, that doesn't have a great deal of flow early?
That does. It's sort of feeling it out. What's it like calling it, Howie?
Just any game of footy is a good game to call, Jack.
Yeah, no, I think you would love to see some more scores, but clearly both sides have focused on their defence.
Steele. Now Greenwood. Miller. Lemons run down from behind. Good tackle. Now the Saints push through Sinclair. Battle. Looks inside to Memory. He's on goal. 199 at the moment. Couldn't complete the mark. Now Lukosius. Called to go on the outer wing. That graceful kick of the football that he is. Wilkie bursts out of his hands. Howard takes on the tackler. Now the Saints. Wobble the ball forward off Webster's boot to open spaces. Chase on two between King and Collins, two big boys. A strong unit is Collins. Uses his strength. Ellis, clever little kick to Miller.
Just great work rate from Miller. He was in the middle of the ground, spread to provide an option.
Swallows got Corbett. Unloads into the pocket. Maybe a 2-on-1. Rankin, can he keep the ball in? He's a skillful player. Was it a throw? Umpire says play on. Rankin will come again. Anywhere near the goal area, he's dangerous, and you can see he's disappointed there.
It was an opportunity miss, wasn't it? He kept the ball in. He did all the hard work. He just had to execute the handball. It was a hard handball.
Oh, another drop mark.
Hits it.
Sorry, Geordie. Dangerous for the Saints. Jones.
One thing would have been said at quarter time as well. Get some grippo on your hands, Howie. We've seen 4 or 5 marks that are just stock standard marks. You just put the side under pressure again.
Ryder, delicate tap.
Especially in your defensive 50 when you don't want to drop a mark like that.
Ryder again. I might have got barreled into there in the audio effects. Handball to space. Battle. Collects it. Jones showed the footy and went in the other direction. Got himself a little bit extra space. Marshall inboard. Running out of room again, the Saints. Steele kicking under pressure towards the wing. Bounces over everybody. Powell. Miller. Are you a grippo man, Jack?
Yep, I am. Love it, Howie.
Thought you might.
Yeah, didn't help last night, though.
Miller. Had a fair run at it. Battle. Comes inboard.
That's the kick.
Now there's a bit of space for Burns. Hill, good user of the footy. Drives it deep to a one-on-one contest. It goes over the top of Membry. Farris stayed down. Read it pretty well in the end. Puts Powell under a bit of pressure.
You can see straight away there, Geordie and Howie, the ability to access inside the centre square there and then turn outside. Had the option inside, but turn outside, and you've got that side of the ground there, one-on-one forwards, you have a better chance of scoring.
Ben King kicked a goal in the first term. Since then, no more majors as yet. Miller, Greenwood. Played every game at the Suns since he came across from South Australia. And the Crows, Howard, Port Adelaide player. Sinclair, deep forward, big fly from Battle. Who can win the ground ball? Collins immediately under pressure. Membry, hurrying little snap, but there's a defender on the line. It was Bowes.
Well, great contest by Battle. He was 1v3 against the Gold Coast defenders. Got to bring the ball back. Lucky because they're on the open side, but just bring the ball to ground. That's when you need your small forwards. So we spoke about St Kilda going tall in this game and what was going to be the reason for them to be able to kick goals. The talls have done their role. Now you just need the smalls at the feet to create scoring opportunities.
Ellis, long ball to the wing. Corbett, pushed off the footy by Joyce, immediately applies a tackle. Gave his man no space.
Even those little handballs there, you see those little plays where the Suns have been able to access that little backspace, gets them a little bit further up the ground, gives their forwards and players up the ground a better opportunity.
Graham tries to use a bit of strength on Ryder. Crouch.
You can just see there, because Ryder's such a dominant ruckman, you can just see the Gold Coast midfielders are really going one-on-one and making it hard for the St Kilda midfielders to get free. So then what you need to do is you need to work together. Go provide a block for a teammate, create some indecision. They're just trying to work it out themselves.
Bit of strength off the footy. King. Only goal scorer in the match so far. Hill, he'll be dangerous if he gets a bit of space. Works the ball round the corner, out in front of Caulfield. Coming the other way, Ellis. Puts some speed into it. Takes a bounce, drives an aggressive ball forward. Ainsworth pushed off the footy. Now Burns and Billings with a low ball to the outer side. Gets out the back. Higgins has a rare bit of space. Steps one way, then the other. Sends it back round the corner. Marshall, Ballard arrived on the scene. And free kick's paid.
Professional free kick, Howie. Just allows his Gold Coast defenders to recover behind the ball and fill up the dangerous spaces. You can see there, Tuke Miller just taking the dangerous space.
Play on.
He's called play on, is he?
Marshall called to go. I'm sure he wanted to go in the instance. Sends it deep forward again. Chaos ball, Higgins, Farah, boundary line.
So the umpires assessed that Marshall can't kick that far.
80 metres, can't kick 80 metres.
Educated guess, you reckon, Lynchy?
I reckon he's done his scouting report and said, "You no hope, play on."
Ryder looking for Burns. Stick hand pass around the corner to Crouch. Centering ball is dangerous. Gets away from King, has a second opportunity. Pushed as he kicked.
Whilst that goes out of bounds, that's the weapon of both the King brothers, their ability to impact in the air. But for 6'5", 6'6" guys, their ability to get the ball at ground level as well is second to none.
Tremendous future for both the King boys. Ballard to Lukosius. Little 9-iron out in front of Ainsworth. Runs inside 50.
It's the best piece of play for the game, though. Used the open side, realised that side had the advantage, so they had the +1 on that side. Just needed execution to finish off the play.
Marshall in front of Greenwood. Big Rowan.
Stand. Play on.
So Collins is the spare for the Gold Coast. 60 metres from this ball, just waiting for the long bomb.
Wilkie. It's the voice of Alistair Lynch alongside Jordan Lewis and Jack Rewalt. Now Burns. Bit of space. Towards Membry. Powell did well not to infringe. Does fantastic well at ground level. And hits Lukosius on the way out. He wants to go immediately and does.
Another good piece of play. So if you're a St Kilda player, you know that is the dangerous area of the ground where you want to get it through the corridor.
Rankin's in the 50 all by himself here if they can get it to him.
Sound like you're saying that with some hope, Alistair Lynch.
Oh, no, I just saw him snuck out there.
Okay.
Real sneaky. He had the head down and everything, just getting out there.
Markov works hard at ground level, dishes out a hand pass towards Lemons, wobbles the ball forward. He's still there. He is, Rankin, he's still there. Runs onto a dangerous player, dishes off by hand. This will be the second of the match and the second for King. And finally the second goal comes. And the Gold Coast open a lead.
He must have snuck on from the bench, did he, Lynchy?
He did. He stuck on from the bench, and for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, there was a 2-on-1. You don't often get that in your forward 50, but some good work at ground level. And just see Isaac Rankin on right of screen there. He's there all by himself. He can't believe no one's picked him up. Ball's just bounced over the top. Wanders in for a nice little handball over the top, and that great transition from defensive 50. So that's a start.
It's one of those ones when you come on, you don't want to let anybody know that you're on. You don't even want to tell your teammates that you're behind them.
Do you reckon Corbett knew he was there?
I don't think so. I think he just snuck on and didn't say a word, just hoping that the ball would come inside the forward 50 and then pop up.
I've done this a couple of times, Harry. Snuck on, then gone back onto the boundary and run around to the goals that way.
That's illegal now, though, Jack. That happened in a game about 20 years ago. The Sydney Swans, where someone ran off the bench but didn't go through ran off the ground through the interchange but didn't actually go off.
The only bloke that picked Rankin was Alistair Lynch. Good hit from Jones. Higgins on a full-fronted lead. Saints need to get moving here. Send a low ball forward. Double-fisted away by Ballard. Falls to the ground, and now the Saints are on the board. They get their opening goal off the bird of steel, and the goals are now flowing at Metricon.
Well, he's been the man to do it all year when he needs to stand up. Being the captain of this side, Jack, he does it. That's a classy finish. But you see as the ball came in, you see the representation at the fall of the ball. Quite often we've seen in the first quarter and a little bit this quarter, Gold Coast are able to rebound outside of their defensive 50 too easily. Really smart play, got himself in a good position, and a classy finish.
Hunter Clark also started had a bit of an impact on the game. He's been the Mr. Fix-It, I reckon, for the Saints. I won't say underrated, but he's a very, very good player that goes under the radar a little bit. A young player as well that they sort of plug and play him. I like playing him in the midfield, get him around the ball. He's got great ball use.
So 2 to King. And still the opening goal for the Saints as Burgess has a run in the ruck against Marshall. Rankin trying to have an impact on the contest. Marshall bangs it off the ground. Nicely taken by Farah. Immediately dished it off to Markov. Look at him dash through the middle of Metricon. Outside of the foot, gets a bit too much on it. Sinclair tracks back, doesn't pick it up on the first go. Or Battle used his strength, just pushed his opponent away. His kick's turned over as well, though. It's a clever ball, but can't quite hit a target. Nearly a couple of times in that passage for both teams, but not quite.
And just on Hunter Clark, he's been the one. So we spoke about leadership in the quarter-time break. He's understood the trend. So whenever he gets the ball, he does try and bring it back into the corridor to give himself better options going forward.
Crouch, Sinclair. It was Wood, back to Crouch. Arches his back, wobbles the ball forward. It might bounce right into the path of Higgins. There was feet, there was a ball, there was a goal post, and in the end there was a behind.
Even that handball from Mason Wood there, into Brad Crouch, into the middle of the ground, gives the Saints a better look inside 50, and possibly could have socketed that one, Jack Higgins. He's definitely got that one in his repertoire.
He's got everything in his repertoire from the goal square, hasn't he, as you've seen. Ainsworth, good hit to the outer side. Weller puts it under his arm, takes a second bounce, takes a third, does Weller.
Rankin's on his own again here.
Driving ball. I'm not sure who's on him, but he should kick a goal, Isaac Rankin.
He's not giving this one up.
He hasn't come from the bench again, Lynch.
No, he hasn't.
Pretty quick change.
No, that was just a breakdown in communications or structure down back.
So you see there, everyone goes, why is Rankin out the back by himself? But the Saints are rotating around, trying to get pressure on the ball, and then the chain's got to finish somewhere, and clearly up the ground doesn't get the turnover, and then Rankin's out the back by himself.
Rankin makes no mistake. Kicks his 9th goal of the season. 2 for the term now for the Suns.
So that's the thing. So we see Mason Wood there. He had to come off his opponent to impact that piece of play. Then what that does further down the field, there's a cascading effect, isn't there? So the deeper defender realises there's someone in front of him. He has to roll up, and then someone eventually, because Mason Wood had to go and impact the play further up the field, someone then breaks down and gets out the back. That's why you back your defenders in. You back them in to make the plays, and you had a good spoil on the ball. But then they were able to turn it around at half-back, and then the cascading effect, they were just all out to see, and Rankin got out the back.
Took Miller, 17 disposals, leads all comers. Billings with 13. Zach Jones with 12. Dave Swallow with 11. Only 1 goal in the first term, 3 in this. Jones, high ball forward to a big contest. Gee whiz, went really early there was Mason Wood. Mark or free kick. Mark was paid to Lemons. To Markov. Got some real toe. Jack Told is a tremendous athlete. Played with Ellis at the Tigers, now at the Suns. Ainsworth can't trap the footy. Come back the other way through Crouch. Steps 1 tackle, wants someone to come towards him. And eventually the option presents. Higgins got one for his trouble as well from Lemons.
As you took the mark, Jack.
Just a little tap around the ears.
Here. Over here.
Yeah, nice little composure from Crouch. He didn't see what he liked when he first looked up, so just had a little short step, checked himself.
Play on.
Jack Higgins plays on. He's got the wrong side of the footy. High, wobbling ball. King, quick hand pass through the legs of Miller. Now towards Billings. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming! It's really tight off the boot of Billings. He likes it. And the Saints get their 2nd of the term.
And whilst you'd love all your goals to come from perfect plays, Howie and Geordie,
Yep.
the 2 goals that have been manufactured for the Saints have been long contests. Granted, that's probably not a kick inside 50 that you'd want there with the bellied snap, but the ability to compete in the air and then show up at the ground level, 2 midfielders have hit the ground there with their ability to get inside.
Billings just goes over to Higgins and say, this is how you do it. You've got to hit the end of the ball.
Get them.
Not the middle. Classy finish, right side for a left footer. But they do look dangerous when the ball comes to ground in their forward 50 and they're able to get representation, you're right.
Important to manufacture opportunities like that too. If you don't kick those 2 goals, they're still sitting with no goals.
32 disposals last week for Jack Billings. Season high, he's kicked the goal and up to 14 already today. Warm conditions on the coast, 26 degrees, as Lynchy told us at the start of the game. By Tell, hassled off the footy by the tough man Greenwood. Kicks it to space, Wilkie and Ainsworth. Battle on the outer wing. Wilkie sits on the footy, gives it across to Hunter Clark. That's pretty nicely to get rid of a handball under pressure. Jones goes in with a strong body. By Tell again. Somehow the Suns get it clear through Flanders. There's another opportunity for Ainsworth. Can he get the bounce? He doesn't. Howard really measures the kick. Completes the pass to Billings.
It was a great one-on-one win by Noah Anderson.
Burns will be under pressure, just taps the ball. Weller picks it off him. Slick hand pass in. And stepping is Rankin. In the end, he gets the safety of the boundary line, but insufficient intent.
Yeah, just tried to do too much. Probably had to give it back to Weller. Sometimes the simple things, when they're not done well, stand out. But once again, it was a drop mark inside their defensive 50 from St Kilda that invited the pressure.
Wilkie with a bounce, lopes away. King tries to corral him.
Stand.
Clark.
Stand. Play on.
Sinclair. Joyce has a bit of a run. Pressured as he kicked it. Took an extra step. Markov in best position. Ballard, one hand. Gee, that was casual but skillful.
He's so cool under pressure, Charlie Ballard.
Now Lemons to Took Miller. Slides it forward. This is good from the Suns. They go inside 50 once again. It's Bowes who's run all the way back. from the half-back line. And he'll line up for the third goal of the term for the Gold Coast.
So we spoke about the ability of sides wanting to trade up, and then it's like a traffic light theory, continue to go up and up. But if you go through the middle of the ground and you continue to shift the ball, someone's always going to be out, especially when you're trading up at a rate of knots like that. And we've seen the 3 goals now from the Gold Coast Suns, if this one goes through, from that bit of play.
Hasn't kicked a goal in season 2021, Jack Bowes. Slides in, and he hooks it. Trade up, Geordie. What are you trading up, Jack? Sorry.
So as people come up the ground, sort of use a bit of footy lingo here. So it's the next guy, he thinks he can impact the contest. So we always see sides wanting to get a third defender in and whatnot. That is what they basically a trade up is. It's a Alex Ransford of all time coming up, punching the ball from the contest in front of him.
Okay. 8-point lead to the Suns.
Stand.
King off half back. Ryder can complete an effective hand pass. Graham. Higgins has got his man.
Have you seen the ruck battle, Geordie?
I think Ryder's been good. You know, he's been probably the dominant ruck, but it's what's happening around his feet. For me, the St Kilda midfielders just aren't working together. And Gold Coast, it's been easy to nullify their influence.
Do you think he could grab it out of the ruck a bit more?
Oh, I think there's certainly that option, but what I would love to see is the St Kilda midfielders blocking and doing deals with each other, creating a little bit of movement around this stoppage. They're just surrendering to the Gold Coast players being one-on-one and trying to fight their own battles.
Greenwood gets his arms above the tackler. Miller does exactly the same thing. Ball to be won by Tell. He's not going anywhere.
Or even Ryder to hit it outside the contest. He's got the ability to hit it 360 degrees. Get some of his midfielders on the move. Be a bit dangerous. Make Gold Coast reactive.
Through the hands of Steele. Bashed off the ground. Flanders. Little underground ball. Inside 50. Dougal Howard's there. Comes out to Sinclair.
Just kept his eyes on the ball, Dougal Howard. When his opponent was trying to get behind him, he just had the footy nous to keep his eyes on the ball. Read it really well.
Graham with front position.
But they have come this side a lot, haven't they, Jack? And I don't know whether it's got to do with a lot of their right footers being in their back half, but you tend to roll to your dominant foot, and a lot of that play has been this side of the ground. So you'd love someone out there to realise that and try and access the open side.
Ryder, Miller, Greenwood. Flanders uses a bit of body strength with the fend off. Drives the ball forward. Good contest in the air. Steele attacks Corbett.
Caulfield's gone down. He got hit by Took Miller, who comes through for a shepherd, and he staggered to the ground. He's slow getting up.
Work on the replay. Loney and Sexton, the 2 medical subs. Steele.
Forward in. Josh, Paddy.
Yeah, another look at the shepherd. Hoping that instance that you don't get the player high, Howie. It was clearly close to the ball within the 5 metres, but you do take a risk when you decide to bump.
Rankin's squaring ball only goes as far as Caulfield. Looks okay. Good news. Clark just jogs along with the football. 1 goal in the first term, 4 in this term. The Suns lead it by 8 points. Saints through Hill. Clark tackled as he tried to get rid of the foot. That'll be a free kick to Webster. Got one really high.
It just shows how important that handball from Hill to Steele needs to be in front, or Clark, I think it was, needs to be in front so the play can continue.
Ainsworth hurt himself in the tackle.
Stand, play on.
Slow to get up.
Stand.
Inside 50 ball and a rare bit of space for King. His brothers kicked 2 at the other end, and now Max gets his first real opportunity.
Oh, he'll know how many his brothers kicked. Yes. Don't worry about that. But this just needs King to go back and settle himself. It's an important kick. It gives his teammates a rest, but more importantly, he gives himself some composure.
Kicked 5 this season in that tremendous comeback against the Eagles. 11 for the season, 5 in that one match. King, beautiful kick of the footy. Goal umpire doesn't move.
I think he's ended up with a mismatch there with Caleb Graham playing on him. He's been playing in the ruck for most of the day, but their ability, I say their ability is the twins, the King twins, their ability to double lead and multiple lead, but the pace they've both got is what sets them aside from other key forwards.
Is it deceptive?
Deceptive, lightning quick.
But as you said, they're great in the air. They're becoming better on the ground as well, their ability to recover. But also one of their strengths is their ability to work out where the drop of the ball is so they can re-lead to that drop of the ball.
There's their parents watching on with the split scarf. Boys have kicked half the goals in the match. 3 of the 6. Crouch. Back towards Marshall. Kicks under pressure. Jones does pretty well not to give away a free kick on his hands and knees. Springs back up. Ellis ducks the head. Rankin. Kick the goal this term.
Hey, let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
It's just after he got rid of it.
On the full now.
Rankin on Jones, just held him for too long.
Time back on.
Silly free kick because they were away.
They were out.
They had the ball.
So Jones, 13 possessions so far after his 37 last week. Lemons scrubs it forward to the wing. Well picked up by Collins. That is a kick to open space. There's 4 Saints that raffle it. Joyce has the winning ticket. Slices it tight down the line. Just a bit of aggro starting to come into this one. Saw that last contest with Jones.
It'll be Jones on the bottom. Tends to get into those little scuffles. Howie.
That's miles off the ball. This one's in the forward half.
I just used to think about the fines adding up.
No, you didn't.
Just to get out of there.
No, you didn't.
Meanwhile, back at the footy. Burns spreads it to the other side. Here's an opportunity for the Saints through Higgins. Little legs pumping. Drives it about 30 from home. Marshall in the air. Hurried snap out of the pack. It's pretty good. Hits the post. Off the boot of Butler.
But that's the difference. I think when we watch the St Kilda inside 50s in isolation, too many times we see the smalls getting past the contest. Butler was past the contest but readjusted himself to get to the fall of the ball and give himself an option.
Do you have to pay your own fine for a wrestle, or does the club pay a
You
fine?
have to pay your own fine, but it became tax deductible in my last 5 years. So.
Tax deductible. I'd like to see that through the ATO.
He was actually getting a tax return, Geordie.
Ellis.
And as soon as I found that out, Howie, it wasn't
A waste of time,
too hard to get out of it.
energy, and breath.
When you get older, it zaps your energy more so than when you're younger and you're a bit more eager.
1 point game the way of the Suns. They led it by 7 points at quarter time. It's been a bit of a scrap so far. Stewart just elects to go off the ground. Ellis crushes into Markov. Butler sent it forward. Collins, the big strong man. Jackie would have spent some time standing next to him.
A little bit. Tends to play on Lynchy. They might have had a bit of wrestling between those two last year,
Right,
actually.
there was one game, I think, famously in the rooms after the game, Collins was quite disappointed.
Is that when he was banging his head into the wall?
Gave a bit of a workout, the padding on the wall there.
Anderson, Ellis.
I'll tell you, another player that I've been impressed with is Burns. In a game that's been quite messy, he's been able to use his leg, take the ball forward. His disposal efficiency is at 100%, so he uses the ball well. Only very on in his career, but showing good signs.
Had his chance last week after averaging 24 disposals in the VFL. It Burns, that's a good hit. Got it on the bounce off his legs and his chest. Didn't enjoy the treatment at all from Collins. And Max will get a chance to kick 2 in a row and 3 in a row for the Saints.
A little bit of spice in this one now, sort of just last 5 minutes.
Markov with a bit of blood. 203 centimetres, 90 kilos. He's lifted out as Max King. Kicked the last goal of the match. From a tightish angle. Oh, hits the post.
Good work, eh? Look after disposal.
Ellis, this is Arnie King's reaction in the box. Nearly. As I said, though, his Suns have kicked half the goals in the match so far.
Stand, play on.
2 to Ben, 1 to Max. Jones. This is another opportunity. Forward. Impacts the contest. King, Butler at ground level. Higgins, where they operate well. King got off the outside of the boot to Jones. He's called to go immediately. Holman gets his man. Does well to get rid of the footy by hand. Right at desperate stages for the Suns. All square deep in the first half. Wilkie will need to get it going in a hurry if the Saints want to get a lead here. His kick can't find Marshall.
He must have taken a half a step forward, Jones, and got called play on. But you've got to always remain in the game.
Good to see Reece Shaw there, barking instructions on the bench of the Gold Coast. Marshall. Steele. Powell. Butler gets him.
25 apiece at half-time. St Kilda haven't played their absolute best, nor have Gold Coast for that matter, but they get a chance to reassess at half-time and try and work out how to break this game open.
Graham from behind. Jones, hurried kick, but the siren beats them all. There's a free kick being paid.
Got to be careful this doesn't escalate.
Danny Ryder's not too concerned, but now King's on the ground. Butler wants to get involved. Oh, he slammed him, Lemons. That was a wrestling-style move. Butler didn't enjoy it at all.
Let's go, over your huddle.
The umpire's trying to separate the boys. Gee, Lemons just got Butler in the air and put him onto his back, and now they've come from everywhere, Geordie.
I said they've got to be careful it doesn't escalate. Well, that's certainly what happened.
Just about every player. Couple walking away now. We've got about 12 umpires around the situation.
It's good there's some feeling. There's some feeling in this game. It means a lot to both sides.
Let's go.
There'll be a little bit of frustration in both sides in the way that they're playing.
It was Lemons and Butler that really... They're still going too. Jones wants to get in there. This is the replay of what happened. There's the body slam on Butler from Lemons. And it's starting to spark up again at Metricon. There's players on the ground. There's pushing, there's shoving.
Stay out, Paddy, get up. Bradley, let go, Bradley.
Still a bit of feeling in it. Spot fires everywhere. He was trying to walk off, but he's got 3 Suns holding off him.
There we go now. Nick.
Umpires are trying to get them separated, Geordie.
Well, I think the leaders from both sides are trying to walk away.
We're done.
It is hard. It is hard to do.
I think the ATO's rubbing their hands together from what you've told me.
Zach Jones, stay out.
Not to keep Zach Jones out.
It is becoming a bit silly now. Both sides need to walk away and wait for the second half. So that's the real challenge. How do you go in at half-time, reassess, understand there's feeling in the game, but come out and actually back it up? That's the challenge for both these sides. It's great to wrestle at half-time, but now you've got to come back out and back it up.
The Suns getting together. Tony Brown, former Saint, leading his boys off the ground. Tuke Miller's saying just that. All square at half-time. And we'll take a quick break. Sarah Jones will give you the full half-time update next. It is all square at half-time. 3 goals, 7 apiece. A bit of spirit in this one. A bit of spark and a bit of fire on the coast.
Stewie, a real slog in the first half. What was your read?
A little bit of Russian roulette, so we want to tidy that up. emotions from both teams, bored over a little bit, so we've just got to get our discipline back.
You always talk about getting speed in the game. Is that something you want to push a little bit more in the second half?
Yeah, they defended really well. They probably carved us up through the corridor, so what worked for us was actually getting it out in the open on the other side, but they haven't allowed it, so credit to them.
What was your major focus at half-time with the boys?
Just getting our discipline back. I think if we tip too far in that aggression stake, we don't want to give away easy frees. If we build pressure, we want to keep it on.
All right, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Suns at 7 1/4 time, all square at half-time. This is what Stewie's talking about, a bit off the ball. Collins goes down. This was right on the quarter half-time siren. Ballard started to get involved. And then this went on for, 2 minutes, Geordie? That's the big moment right there when Lemons just body slams Butler, who didn't enjoy it at all, but it went and stopped and went and stopped, went again.
Well, he's so lucky that didn't end up in a serious injury. And I know we're being dramatic, but once you take a player off the ground, it is very hard to control him. So Tempers boiled over before half-time, but what Touk Miller said is, OK, take a deep breath, let's reset at half-time, but when it really counts, third quarter, let's put our game on show.
We know that Cam Smith's in the crowd.
We did a little tutorial before the game,
tutorial there, just rubbing off in the game there. Obviously umpired the Oz kick beforehand.
Melbourne Storm legend, all set for a start. Where's the aggression at the first couple of contests? Ryder says, I'm going to grab it straight out of the ruck. Graham says, I'll have a crack at it as well. Sends it back to Markov. Swallow. Now the Gold Coast bring it towards the broadcast wing. Bounces, props and goes across the line.
Just a little tactical one there. Markov's been coming off the back of the square there because they know they haven't got the ruck dominance, so they're actually sending one of their own defenders in to protect the back of the stoppage.
Jack Riewoldt with his 3 premierships alongside Alistair Lynch with 3 and Jordan Lewis with 4 on Saturday footy.
Play on.
Steele kicked the first goal for the Saints. Took to the second term though. Falling to Billings, slams into the post.
It's a good play, good contest in their forward 50, then really good positioning by Billings. Just unfortunately on his wrong side, Howie, but...
Saints in front for the first time. Go to Flanders. The man known as the Freak from the Creek, Jack. Here's Flanders. And the Fish Creek.
Bit unlucky to get called play on too, Howie. Just going back off his mark.
Sinclair.
Stand!
Now Caulfield.
Play on you.
And across the half-back line, Howard. Touch more aggressive to Jones.
Stand. Play on.
Standing going on. Crouch now to Jones. Sends it deep towards the square. Pow! Sharp aerial work.
Well, he just reads the play so well. Knows when to zone off his opponent, knows where the drop of the ball and the dangerous space is.
Playing game 43, Will Power.
Not overly tall, only 185 centimetres.
Rangy type though, isn't he? There's an important ball. Swallow to Miller. Gets away from Sinclair. Drops it towards the pocket. One-on-one contest. King, Howard, Caulfield. Back by hand, Crouch. Calm in a crisis. Hits a target on the way out.
Would have loved to have seen young King run Dougal Howard under the ball there and use his body to come back. And that'll come in time just with the tricks of the trade. Still relying on athleticism to jump up and mark it, but really could have shunted him under the ball there and used his hips to his advantage.
Riewoldt. Now Greenwood gets through him. Wobbled forward by the Suns. Towards the flank, Wilkie. Clean below his knees. And Billings can't keep the ball in play. So Lemons, 100th game for Sean, 8th season. The 15th son to play 100 games. The contest, Weller's out the back, as is Rankin. Danger, danger, danger here for the Saints. Went the hand pass to Lukosius, gets to King eventually, and Big Ben's got 3.
Just love what Isaac Rankin's about there. Read the flight. A lot of players, we talk about getting to the front, George, but sometimes there is the opportunity to run to the back of the contest here. And this man reads the ball well, sees how it's going out the back there. You can see it a couple of peeks at it. And then unselfishly, I know it turns into a little bit of a scrappy goal, but love seeing young players pass the ball off like that when they could have had a shot themselves. Shows that they're really buying into the team mentality.
Holman there with a slick hand pass in the end.
And that's what we're talking about when he had the opportunity to give the handball in the first quarter to Weller and he didn't give it. That's the simple things that we're talking about. Drew the opponent in, then realised the time was to give it off, gave the simple option, and then it just flowed from there for an easy goal.
So the King boys between them 4 of the 7 for the match now. Ryder to Crouch, Swallow. Ryder comes a second time. Miller, Greenwood.
Had a big first half, Miller. The 20 disposals, just runs the lines, and really good by foot. Uses the ball well.
Ryder shoved as he kicked it. Works out all right, though.
Generous mark. I don't think he controlled it at any time.
That's an Oz kick mark, that one, Geordie.
Butler won't be complaining.
Don't hold.
Drops it into the pocket.
Play on.
Good effort in the air by Marshall. The Saints, good tackle applied. That's Higgins, gets his former teammate, Ellis, and he'll enjoy that, will Jack?
Yes, no doubt he was reminding that, but I loved Ryder grabbing it out of the ruck there and kicking it forward. I know the Butler mark, well, wasn't a mark, but the umpire paid it a mark. I loved Ryder grabbing it and just kicking it, getting away from the vicinity.
14 goals for the season for Higgins.
Good pressure, though. Good contest by Marshall. He's going up against 3 Gold Coast defenders. Just to be out of position, but still bring the ball to ground.
Possession 22 for Miller. Jones has got 21 for the Saints off his 37 last week. Powell. Farrett just tries to nurse the ball to work out to Ainsworth. Precocious, rare error by foot to Anderson. Might work out in the end. He's got a man deep. That's Weller, wants to go. And he does. All the way back to Ellis.
Well, good work rate. We saw the tackle from Higgins in the defensive 50, so a lot of the play was down there. Then, as Jack spoke about before, the ability to use your endurance to run the wings. So he maintained his width, and then realised later it was his chance to come in and create an option. Really good vision by Weller.
Brandon Ellis in game 266 career goals before today. To open up the margin for the Suns.
Just nursed it.
Just trying to tap that one in, Howie.
Yep.
Just got to sometimes bang it into the back of the neck of the cup.
The Suns were the only goal for the term. It was Ben King's third. They led by 7 at quarter time, the Gold Coast. It was all square at half time. They're out to a 5-point margin. Led off for the Saints. The big boys fly. Bowes changed hands. Miller kicked off one step. Powell. Markov. Webster will get a free.
Yeah, good positioning in front. Really aggressive positioning. Gives you first access to the ball. You'd love to see Webster take off, take to the open side.
Comes slightly inboard with a kick down the line. Higgins rows it perfectly. Membry, haven't really seen much of Tim today. His kick in the end, it's not a bad result for the Saints.
They just take ground. Sometimes when you look inside your forward 50 and you've got no options, the best option really is to kick it as long as you can. He may have been having a shot there, but just to kick it as long as you can, get field position, chance to set up.
Came in on 199 goals, Tim Membry. Just dispossessed and ragdolled was Higgins. And his hands in the air. Webster, good start to him for the second half. Drops it back to Caulfield. Crowded forward line ahead.
Yeah, so this is a player, if you don't want to go long, you've got to change the angle. Deciding to go long.
Takes a bit off the kick in the end, it'll land. 25 from home. Big contest in the air. Higgins is proving dangerous. Good tackle. Not sure how Higgins got rid of it. Comes in the end to steal. He's kicked one. He's got 2. The Saints were there first of the second half.
Two instances there we see Jimmy Webster actually being proactive as a defender and standing in front of his opposition. And we've spoken a lot about the rotation and St Kilda trying to impact the contest in front of them, and Gold Coast have the ability to get it out the back and score from it. But that's the positive side of it, being in front, being proactive. You actually get those forward half turnovers, and it gives you a chance to get the ball. Maybe.
Two important goals from Jack Steele, though. One in the first term, and one in the first term when the play just wasn't going their way. Or the second term, sorry. But then that goal there, just the ability to have strength in your core and break the tackle, then compose yourself and execute.
14 disposals for Steele. A couple of valuable goals, as Geordie just said. And the Saints take back the lead. Tight and tough. Metricon, Anthony's hand pass is stymied by Clark, goes back to Crouch. He runs back towards his defensive area. Hill, good user of the ball, out towards Mason Wood. He was a late in. Seb Ross with twins yesterday. Congratulations to the Ross family. A late withdrawal on his birthday of all things. Webster, back to Clark. Measures the ball forward and just floating across as he has the ability to do. And it's King.
It's so valuable, Hunter Clark getting the ball around the ground on his opposite foot there. Just the ability to not blaze. He probably had that set shot in him, but took the time to look forward, and then why not kick it to one of the, well, you've got to have the last name King to be kicking goals today, Howie.
His brother's got 3. He's lining up for his second, trying to chase his brother down. He's Max. Comes in deliberately. What did he do there, Jack, and why didn't it work out?
Maybe dropped it outside a little bit. I reckon the last 3 shots we've seen probably poked at him a little bit. And it's important to kick through it, whether you're 10 metres out or 50 metres out.
Bowes to Ballard. Scrubby kick only as far as Steele. Assesses his options. By hand to Hill. He points Hill in which direction to go. Hooks it round the body. There's King again. Flanders. Splits it out wide to Lukosius. Casual style with ball in hand. Sets a task for Corbett.
Well done by Joyce and Aces. Corbett, you could just see working really hard to provide an outlet. Just had the ability to go with him.
Just that little handball from Jack Steele. Frustrating, goes to Bradley Hill, go further towards the boundary. Actually changes the angle and less chance of scoring from further out wide.
Burgess cracking the ruck. Does a good job of it. His kick clears everything.
They've managed the game well, I think, Gold Coast. Certainly when it looks like St Kilda are scoring and getting a goal and getting opportunities inside their forward 50. One, they haven't been able to convert, but also Gold Coast have really monitored the game and not allowed them to get that run on when they can become so dangerous.
Swallow to a contest over the top of Ben King.
And you do that through contest, you do it through stability behind the ball, you do it through making really good decisions off the ball. They've been able to do that. Stewie Jew spoke about last week, the maturity of changing tack in quarter and realising what's happening in the game.
2-point lead to the Saints. Trailed the Suns for most of the afternoon so far. Swallow. Flanders, Swallow. Wobbles it to a dangerous position. Coming back to the flight, though, is Howard. Accomplished defender.
He just reads it so well.
Game 72. He's picked up 56th in the 2014 draft, originally at Port Adelaide. Jones.
It's just been a game of turnovers at the moment, and silly little turnovers that you wouldn't expect at AFL standard. It's probably the side that can clear it up a little bit will be the one that's going to score next, and in a low-scoring game, every goal's vital at the moment.
Spot on, Jack. It's Jack Rewald alongside Geordie Lewis. Flanders goes to something a bit special off the ground.
And just to reinforce, it's perfect conditions up here. There's no winds, there's no rain or hail, and 26 degrees, so it shouldn't see these skill execution errors that we've seen so much in the first half.
Gee, that's different to when I grew up going to Waverley Park.
There was a pool, but it was in the car park.
Gee whiz. It was a hard car park to get out of that one too. Membry. Marks on the defensive point of the square. Many pulls at the footy in Tassie when you were growing up, Jack?
Yeah, they're all frozen though.
Yeah, that's it. Ellis makes a good contest in the air. In game 200, got one high.
Yeah, great
Big
contest. You called it. Yeah, worked really hard to provide an option defensively, and then you've got to execute. Then you've got to win the one-on-one.
Markov short. The Suns want to run it along the wing. Taking the tackle was Noah Anderson. It could come back the other way. The Saints try and put it out in front of Burns. Unusual kick round the body, through the hands of a couple of Suns. Now's a chance for Butler, dangerous around goal. Well done, Bowes. Held his man up, didn't give away a free kick. Did really well there, did Jack Bowes. And Swallow will provide some relief.
That's a perfect result. As you would have seen, Will Powell came out and then turned around. So on screen you would have wondered why, but there was St.Kilda defenders at the end of that kick, so he had to slow it up. In the end, Dave Swallow's done a perfectly executed, deliberate out of bounds.
Still inch at ground level at Metricon. Bytel in the grey boots. Left foot slider. Bowes again is good defensively. The Saints continue to press. Bytel again. He's got a little bit of space. Unloads. Doesn't get the bend.
Might have picked up on a little ruck signal there. We saw Marshall coming in with a closed fist and then the ball hit long forward. It could be a little one that they've identified that they've got that ruck dominance and now trying to get it forward of the contest a little bit more into open space.
It's quite often when you do the research on the opposition as a midfielder, you are watching tape to see what the ruckman is doing or the midfielders are doing and what type of hand signals they've got, Howie.
They are only ruckmen, so it'd be pretty basic, wouldn't it?
Well, correct, but why would you tell the opposition if they've done their homework where you're hitting it?
So a little signal before you tap it, left or right or forward.
But there's sides out there.
Okay. And the Saints contesting the ball on the outer wing. Clark, Jones, Burns, drops it forward in front of Membry. Spins, Tim Membry's on goal, 199. He's dispossessed and he kicked it. And the big boy from Terralgan doesn't have much joy there.
Well, it was just really well defended. Didn't get sold inside in Collins. Didn't get sold inside. Just really watched the hips, watch which way Membry was going. And then when he saw the opportunity to close up the space and pressure him, just perfectly executed.
And then the ball went out the full. Collins sends it very close to the line. Plenty of footy still to come on a Saturday afternoon. Enormous couple of games today. There's Dacos, Darcy Moore and the Pies. Peace out as he rolls in. Crisp and Co. Enormous game for Collingwood and their skipper Scott Pendlebury. They take on the Kangaroos coming up later today. It's away from the Saints. There's Webster. Steele. Jones lost sight of the footy. Rankin. Good below his knees. The Suns press again. Coming back though is Howard, Mark Neasley.
Well, he's done it often today. Just zones off so well. Lets his forward go high up the ground and just stays back defensive.
Wilkie. Pressured is Jones, stripped of the footy. Ellis will take the advantage. Hits the 50, short is good. And they find Corbett. As we saw the Collingwood players arrive there, Jack, you see the NBA players in their casual dress. Are you a polo man, or would you like to flare it up a bit on your arrival at the MCG?
No, I'm quite happy to have a uniform.
Okay.
Hides my lack of style, Howie.
Righto.
Yeah.
Who would at your team?
You would have
Shea Bolton would love it.
You would have dressed up for that AFL gimmick nines.
Well, that's it.
Oh, what do you mean? I dressed up for it. We won at the Rampage.
The Rampage. Corbett to give the Suns the lead. For his first goal of the afternoon. Trots in. Bangs it home. Home side back in front.
Good finish.
Important.
It was off a turnover. But this was the kick that was called not 15. So the umpire called play on, which caught Jones by surprise, and then the Gold Coast just got numbers around the ball. And really nice and composed going inside forward 50. You could see if he would have bombed long, that's where the defence usually sag off to. So the ability to lower your eyes and pick out an option It was good execution by Ellis.
Wouldn't buy land off Zach Jones if he thinks that's 15 metres. Certainly only the cuts of the grass are about 12 and a half, I think. So that one's gone 12 and a half. But
you do try and convince the umpire, don't you?
Oh, it depends if I've marked it, yes. Big finish, though.
Yeah, good
really
finish.
Important finish.
Kicked 3 goals last week against the Dogs, 2 against the Swans and 4 against Collingwood. So he's had a good period. 10th goal of the season for Corbett. Athletic type of operator. Graham cops a knock to the head.
I think Geordie and Jackie spoke about it. I think maybe it's time for Paddy Ryder and Marshall to try to get the ball on the outside, get it into a little bit more space and flow in the game.
Flanders got one across the shoulder.
And that's the thing you wrestle with in game. When is the time to be ultra aggressive? And it's the third quarter with 7 minutes to go. Maybe it's a good period of the game to really try and pick back that lead and break it open. But you wrestle with that all game. When is the right time to be ultra aggressive around stoppages?
Flanders to Bowes. Looked for Miller, had a little bit too much on it. Vitell takes on a tackler. I might turn it over here, Greenwood. Bangs it forward, it's only just a distance, but it's hit Holman. How did that line up on the cut grass?
Yeah, I don't reckon that was 15 either, but because it went to a forward, Howie, get the rub of the green.
It's all good.
It just shows how important execution is. The handball to Bradley Hill was behind. It's very hard for that player in Hill to recover and get back and get it.
Good defensive forward, this man. 14 inside tackles this season. Inside 50, leads the league coming into it. Goal here to make it 2 in a row for the Suns. Holman steers it home. Suns have got a bit of momentum.
So we'll get you to run your eye over this kick, Jack.
Put my real estate agent hat on. What are we thinking?
But this is the play. Just the handball by Todd behind Bradley Smith, and then Greenwood gets the kick.
Just 15, 15.1.
That's all it needs to be.
You were being generous.
We have harped on it though, Geordie, but we've seen multiple easy kicks missed, and not just inside forward 50, but all around the ground. But the value of kicking the ball inside 50, Jack Lukosius we spoke about off the top, it is vitally important.
And Jack, you make a very good point. I guarantee you there's a different 15 metres in the forward half as in the back half. They mark it different.
3 goals to 1 to the term for the Suns. So we'll square at half-time. They've opened up a handy 9-point lead. They want to go again through Weller. 50, big 50, the way this game's playing out.
You're right, Jones had to realise he was in the protected area, and you've got to exit straight away. You can't just continue on in your run. You've got to get out of there. It's not what they needed when all the momentum's with the Gold Coast Suns.
5 goals this season for Lockie Weller. Pretty accurate, typically in front of goal. 3 in a row for the Suns, and they put a break on the Saints.
Well, they're certainly on top, Jack. The 3 goals before that were all from forward half turnovers, so their forward half pressure is really good. They're creating some opportunities and St Kilda to make mistakes, but there we see Zach Jones. As soon as the umpire tells you to get out, you've got to actually just exit straight away. Make a change in the way that you run and make it look like you're getting out of that area. He just didn't do enough to convince the umpire.
And in a tight game, Geordie, the little things are the things that make a difference. And we saw Jimmy Webster playing in front a couple of times before getting forward half turnovers for the Saints, but Weller plays in front, gets a scrubby kick out, gets the mark, gets a 50, but the ability to play in front, it is the small things in a tight game like that that turn into goals.
For the last 5 majors for the Suns. Now to a game-high 15-point margin through the hands of Jones. Miller wants it, pushes hard, so does Hill. Crouch in traffic, going backwards at the moment, the Saints. The Suns are all over them. Weller, Swallow, back to Weller. It'll land in a dangerous position. Clean bowls everyone. Rankin's there. Wilkie's going to be under pressure if he takes possession. Miller with a hurried snap out of the pack. And Billings was underneath it thinking, gee, I hope he says this is 15 because they were coming from everywhere.
We had the follow-up by Took Miller. Just doesn't give up.
Leads from the front.
A fair bit of the footy too.
Block, Gold Coast. That's up here. Look on the ball. Stand, please, Jack.
Greenwood deliberately puts it right to the teeth of goal. Weller's having a little purple patch, flies hard at the footy. Billings grabs his man.
Flies under the radar, the work that Hugh Greenwood does. 6 clearances today in against a dominant ruckman.
Sinclair with a quick kick out of the pack. There is Greenwood. You mentioned him, Jack, only player in the first 7 rounds with 50-plus clearances and 50-plus tackles. So he's a workhorse. Hasn't missed a game since he came across from the Crows.
Right hand pass this.
Was that keen on it, was he?
Well, I think I've told him to wait. The St Kilda players are certainly onto him.
Face the footy, Nick.
I think he'd have the distance in him.
3 goals for the season coming in this afternoon's match for Hugh Greenwood. Little stutter. Now he gets into his flow for 4 in a row for the Suns. Not quite. Under the pump, though, the Saints. How do you turn momentum in the modern game, Jack?
You're going to get the ball for starters. So at the moment, out of the middle, the Saints have been losing it, which is probably where they need to get. But now you just need to get a bit of control. And you don't need to try and get it all back in the next 5 minutes as well. That's the other thing that sides can fall into the trap of.
We're 1 goal 6. The Suns, they've kicked 6-3 since then. Bytel trying to get his team rolling again. It's a piercing ball forward. Or just a one-hander for Collins.
Just to zone off his player in King there and read where the kicker was going to deliver the ball. That's what good defenders do.
Markov's got some toe.
So does Butler.
Yeah. Both former Tigers. A few Tigers there with Higgins and Ellis as well. Ben King's been the dominant forward. He's kicked 3. His brother's kicked 1. High ball. Big fly from behind was Graham. Threw himself at the foot. He's already taken 1 spectacular grab today. Comes back towards King. Nearly had the footy. Joyce will be immediately pressured. Little underground ball rolling towards the line.
Oh, well disguised.
Nominate rucks. Caleb.
You're right. As Jack said, you've just got to get your hands on the ball. If you're St Kilda and you feel the pressure and the momentum with Gold Coast, you need to get your hands on the ball. It's one thing saying that, but the pressure from Gold Coast isn't allowing it. Nothing's easy at the moment.
Important contest there, that one too, that it goes to ground, because otherwise he was to see here the big... Oh, nearly pay that. Would have given it to Gary Ablett Senior though, that one, Howie.
With Gary Pert out there. Now to Ballard. Beginning to understand how much you favoured forward line operators in this call, Jack.
Imagine him sitting alongside Brownie and Nick.
Oh, crikey.
They could do no wrong.
There's only one half of the ground.
The rest of the blokes just get it to you. Miller off half back. Cheeky ball to Swallow. And Markov. Parra took his eye off it. He's got enough time to mop it up.
Just seeing a bit more of this in the modern game, the possession football. It's exactly what the Saints need to do at the moment as well. Get the ball and hold on to it for a little bit.
Farah reduced the power of the kick. Joyce. Sinclair had no time to get rid of it. Weller had a moment, so did Flanders. Back towards Burgess. A 4-goal-to-1 term. Away the Suns at the moment. Square at half-time. They're out to 16 points. Warm day on the coast. Jones with 24 disposals. Crouch 20. Miller 27 and Swallow 24. Four leading possession winners on the ground.
Hey, look, St.Kilda ruck.
Marshall, as far as Lukosius.
They just haven't got the dominance around stoppages. 40 hit-outs to 10 in favour of St Kilda, but yet the stoppages are even. So then how do you maximise that? It will be a question at three-quarter time.
Markov, spirit away from him. Lemons. Chance for the Saints, minute on the clock. And that chance has just disappeared off the boot of...
It's just the inferred pressure that we've seen all day.
Nearly spilled me coffee.
Stand. Out of the side.
Lemons.
Play on.
Hugging the boundary line.
And again, in these, sorry, Geordie, in these stoppage situations, we see, I think St Kilda are playing into the Gold Coast hands. They're tapping the ball inside, and the Gold Coast are sitting on the outside and pushing their players in so they don't get hurt on the outside. So I think they're playing into their hands, again, in tight.
Alistair Lynch. The boundary at Metricon. Now there's a late chance for the Saints. Ryder needs to get the ball moving. There's not really too many options forward, so he kicks to a bit of space. Ellis holds his ground. Billings at ground level. Dangerous player, wobbles it forward. Membry wanted a piece of it. Didn't get a chance. Collins in the back pocket. Had a good day against Tim Membry so far. Greenwood tried to reach over the back. Hitting it with speed was Rankin. Oh, head on. It's a little bit nasty. It was Swallow. And Battle a little bit slow to get to his feet. Now, we had a bit of this going into the last break. And what was that? Rankin was just sort of doing a bit of patting in the chest of Steele. I don't think the boys want to get involved again. So he's been offered the kick. It's going to take something tremendous, Malcolm Blight style. I'm not sure he's got it in him, Geordie. Unloads. It's a good torp, but about 30 metres short. A good term, though, for the Suns. They kicked 4 goals to 1. It was square at the half-time break. The Gold Coast have got the advantage at Metricon, three-quarter time. The home side leader by 15 points. The job to do for the Saints.
Involved Bradley Hill and Zach Jones and these types of players to break the lines. In saying that, if you're Gold Coast, you're on high alert, especially around stoppages. They're going to try things differently around stoppages, but certainly when they get the ball, they're going to try things as well. So be ultra aggressive with the way they move the ball. But Gold Coast's pressure has been so good today, so if they can keep that up, they're going to make it tough for them.
Final term coming your way, Saturday afternoon football. The Saints would love the early one to get a bit of momentum. Jones wobbles the ball forward. Coming back with a flight, picking it up cleanly. Here's the skill from Noah Anderson. Sends it back from where it came. Contest in the air. Swallow at ground level. Clearing hand pass. Sinclair. Wobbles it out towards the wing. Unfortunate bounce for Anderson. Burns. Higgins arrives late. The Suns look like they want to move the ball quickly and play on. Sliding ball inside 50 from Ainsworth. Hits the dangerous Lukosius, and this man is a wonderful kick of the football.
Yeah, you're right, Geordie, in terms of being able to try and get the ball a little bit more on the outside, but scoring shots are still even at the moment. It's easy to say, it's hard to say now. Obviously, Lukosius is having a shot, and if he kicks it, then the margin goes out again. But for mine, I'd be sort of sticking fat for a first 10 minutes before you start rolling the dice.
Okay, Lukosius to really hurt the Saints. Hits the 50, hooks it badly. Let off for St Kilda.
Well, it's funny, when you watch Lukosius kick around the ground, he kicks across his body, yet when he has a set shot, it's more of a straight run. You'd love for him to recognise that and have a set shot around the corner of his body, because that's when he kicks at his most potent.
Stand.
Webster. Clark. Steele. Slides off the outside portion of the boot. A lot of fists in the back of the pack. Brad Hill can't keep it in.
It's going to be vital that Hill, Steele and Hunter Clark get the ball plenty of times in this last quarter if the Saints are to win. They're the three that, along with Zach Jones, are probably the ones that can win the game for them.
Right, what impact can he have in the final term? There is Jones. Legged or held. Either way, it's a free kick. Hunter Clark was going for the big switch and then he changed feet all of a sudden. Sinclair. Work it through the middle of Metricon. Through Clark again. Takes a bit off the kick. King at ground level. This is where he's dangerous. Should be an opportunity for Butler. Hooking ball for the Saints. Misses.
They've had their opportunities. 4 goals, 13 from 43 inside 50s. You speak about the little things throughout the game, Jack. Certainly this last quarter, they're highlighted even more so. But it's the ability off half-back to bring the ball inside to the corridor from a St Kilda point of view that they look their most dangerous.
Turnover chance. Butler applies the pressure. Can he make up for the miss? Trying to release the ball is Marshall. Markov's got his man. The Saints come again. Billings, this is the one they're after, the Saints. Won't put it up in the final term.
It's a pretty risky kick to be taken, Geordie, in the back line. That one through the middle there when you're already up.
Just hung in the air too long, don't they? Coaches speak about long switches into the corridor. Too much hang time allows the St Kilda players to come in. They just king the sharp hands. Aloni just to hold his width. So when he did get the ball, he had time and space to execute.
The awareness of Dan Butler there to always be on defence as well, just to impact that one. It's a split second. If he's half a second later, it's probably a mark, and we're not looking at Jack Billings kicking his second goal for the game, but he gets there, gets the ball to ground, doesn't get a possession, but probably had the most impact on that goal there.
And straight after he just missed a shot at goal as well, Jack. He's straight back in the game.
You can see there, we speak about game feel. Lukosius certainly would have understood the mistake that he made.
Paddy Ryder pumping himself up against Graham.
Might have been Ballard. Sorry there, Howie.
So, Weller, Lukosius, Miller looking for the immediate response. The Coasters, big ball forward. Important moments in the game. Webster, Clark. Really good exit ball that. To Steele. Battle. Needs to be good. Howell affected the contest with Butler just at the last moment. King can't pick it up. Crouch doesn't really make much purchase off the ground. Took Miller's been fantastic all day. Markov takes on the tackle with power. Long ball forward. Rankin flew. Sinclair stayed down. We're under the pump here. Didn't cover the distance. Sinclair again. Game's gone up a notch, though, early in the fourth.
It has, and that possession there, play on here, they're the ones you've got to cut off from a Gold Coast point of view. If you want the ball to remain in your half.
Crouch, Webster, Hill, round the body. Good contest from Marshall. Took a couple down with him as he went. King, hand passes towards a teammate, Jones. A little bit of space inside the forward 50. He goes back to about 70 now with a little bounce. Can he hit a target? There's 2 there. And Higgins called his man out and was pumped about the mark too.
Once again, we see Max King on ground level. He handballed that one to, I've forgotten his name for a second there, Billings before. And then the handball off the ground there as well gets another scoring shot.
Higgins to bring the Saints right back into this. 2 in a row for St Kilda. And now it's tight on the coast.
It was also when the ball went inside forward 50. The contest from Marshall was huge because that ball had to come to ground. So the contest there, just to bring the ball to ground, was important because it kept the play alive. It kept the players that were coming into the screen involved in the play. And by that contest, you put a player on the ground, so you've effectively won down inside your forward 50 now that there's a Gold Coast player injured. You see there the recovery from Marshall. He could have been an option if Higgins wasn't that other option. Really good contest between he and Graham.
Got a history of close games. The Saints have won the last 4 against the Suns. Good for a total of just 11 points. 2, 1, 4 and 4.
It has had that feeling all game, hasn't it?
The Suns got out to 15 points with the last 3 of the third term. But Billings and Higgins have brought the Saints right back into a 2-point margin. Who gets the clearance? Bytel drives it forward. Higgins goes something fancy one-handed. Gets up to his feet nicely. Couple of big Saints there. Collins spoils late. Did really well to bring that to ground. Collins thought King had it and didn't give away a free kick.
Super effort by Collins. Sometimes as a defender you can stop. When you see your forward get his hands on the ball, you stop thinking the forward has marked it. But he just didn't give up on the play. King gave him a second chance.
Aggressive ball from Powell. It was a good one. Finds Burgess. Releases by foot. He's short of Ben King. As Jack said, so good at ground level, the King boys. Swallow couldn't get the hand pass away. Now the Saints have got the momentum through Battle and Crouch. Battle comes a second time. Spins a hand pass into the path of King. Coming the other way was Ballard, Powell, Lukosius. Good exit ball.
It was a great kick just to relieve the pressure.
Weller bites off a bit with that kick. It's nice to Ben King. Takes a couple of loping steps, drives it forward. Diving effort there. Just getting away in the end from Joshua Corbett. And it sneaks through.
You get a sense that the pressure in the game has lifted. You're right, it's 4th quarter, so we spoke about both sides. When is it the time that you really try and ramp it up from a ball movement point of view, but also a pressure point of view? You see there, St Kilda have lifted.
Ryan Burns drives it towards the broadcast wing. Memory, first real sighting of the big Traralgon boy for the day. Came in on 199 goals, he's still stuck there. Marshall, big boy starting to take an effect on the game. Hill runs inside 50, King wants it, heads in that direction now. Well read though by Powell.
Super read. King was all by himself. Just had to be better execution going inside forward 50. Even a little bit more height on the kick would have given King the advantage.
Is this when it becomes fun as a player, Jack, when it's tight in the last quarter?
That's what you play footy for, Howie.
Yeah. Ball to the wing. Wilkie.
All these little contests become more and more important. So the Saints have taken the last 2 contested marks.
Ryder over the top. Make that 3. Paddy flies over the top. Collins hasn't been outmarked all day. Goes to a very dangerous position, but it's all the Suns. Greenwood did well. Good voice between the Suns defenders. Called Bose out of it. And look at that replay from Paddy Ryder from about 4 deep. 259 for Paddy Ryder. Port Adelaide, Essendon, St Kilda, Clark. Now Battle. Need to kick it in that direction. It was outside of the boot. Wood came at it hard. Swallow gathers it well below his knees. Rankin, nice hand pass to clear the congestion. Might come back the other way. Clark, good tackle applied by Holman. Rankin just got a hurried kick away. Well read though by Webster. They'll come back the other way now, the Saints, but in front is Bose. Wants to go immediately.
Saints just look to be having more numbers at the contest around the middle of the ground there. We saw that area before with Weller 1v3. Hunter Clark sits behind. He's generating a lot of offense for him at the moment.
Jack Rewalt, Jordan Lewis, Alistair Lynch. Looking on as the Gold Coast hold a 3-point margin. They're up by 7 at quarter time. It was all square at half time. The Suns by 15 at 3-quarter time, but 2 goals for the term the way of the Saints. Stewie Dew, Brett Ratton watching on. Webster. All the Suns and Bows.
And this is nearly a mirror image from the first quarter, but it was the Saints that were chipping it around like the Suns are doing at the moment.
My word, Lukosius, 60-metre ball. Corbett copped one in the contest. Holman off the contest. Goes by hand. Weller fancies it from 52 metres.
Never quite understood handballing it to bloke closer to the boundary and letting him have a shot when you're left footer on the right side for you.
And you're a goal kicker. I mean, it's staggering, really.
Free was there, though.
Joyce out of Ireland.
So, Jack, what would be going through a player's mind right now? Are you trying to reference the clock? Are you working out when's the time to pull the trigger? Do you pull it? At what stage of the game do you become more aggressive?
I think, Geordie, it's all sort of just holding your nerve, really. So, to be honest, it'll be the team that maybe goes away and does something differently and outside of what their fundamentals are that might actually lose this game.
Hill. Hand passes to space. Steele lopes after it. Takes his time. It's a clever ball back inside. Diving effort by Higgins. He's kicked one this term as Higgins.
It was a great kick across his body facing towards the boundary. And to be able to complete the mark, taking a chest mark as you're falling to ground is quite hard to do. But he's stepped up at moments throughout this game, Steele. Really been counted. That's a tough mark.
15 goals for the season. Higgins unloads. It comes, but not enough.
And it's going to come down to moments like that. Who can execute? It's noticeable that there's fatigue in the game now. So a little bit more space, a few more mistakes. It's a team that can execute under pressure and take those moments.
Warm autumn day on the coast. 26 degrees. Graham.
There might be a couple of concerns for the Suns as Toot Miller comes off the ground and just stretching his left hamstring. Looks a bit concerned, so hopefully just cramp, but obviously an issue.
He leads all comers too. Lynchy with 29 disposals. I'd love to get him back out there. Goes against Burgess. Holding the ball. Well done by Clark.
Even tackles there, like the ability to stick that tackle. Early on, the Saints weren't sticking the tackle, and the Suns were able to break through and get outside the contest. But sticking those tackles is vitally important to keeping the ball inside and then obviously getting it back as well.
There's some space on the outer side for the Saints. Billings. They build through Wilkie. Inside 50 ball. Membry!
It was good ball movement. Started off half-back by Hill, just providing run. Sometimes when you provide that run, you don't know what's going to unfold. If you take the risk, and sometimes you get the reward. So you get to the open side, then you cause instability in the Gold Coast defence. You can see the players rolling up, trying to put frontal pressure on.
Leading goal kicker at the Saints in 3 of the last 5 years, Tim Membry. Kicked 199 career goals. This, from a difficult angle, to give the Saints the lead. Membry hits the post.
Would have been a fair 200, Howie.
Oh, would it ever.
Memorable.
Could still be. It could still be. 2 points to the Suns. Jai Farah.
So they're getting their chances, Howie. You can see 8 of the last 10 inside 50s. It's just now about execution.
Power called to go. Membry just got out of his grasp, but he did enough to pressure. And there's the turnover. They're the moments you're talking about, Alistair Lynch.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like St Kilda are sort of on top of the ground at the moment. They're just having to weather a bit of a storm at the moment, the Suns.
Game trends like this and the ball stays in the forward half, the Saints will run over the top of them. Just the weight of numbers will end up hitting the scoreboard. So the Suns have got to find a way to get the ball back and hold on to it for a little bit.
Billings with a Shepherd gets an extra 5 or so metres. Collins, Ryder at ground level. Paddy Ryder! The Saints are in front.
Well, he convinced his opponent that he was going to fly in the air, then realised he was under the ball, and then got the crumb. So you can see there he's matched up on Graham, goes for the crumb, and just great recovery.
Jordy, you spoke about the small forwards getting past the contest there initially early on in the game. If Ryder doesn't get that, Butler's lining up, Jones is lining up as well.
It's what you touched on, Jake, the weight of numbers. So the pressure builds when Gold Coast are trying to exit their defensive 50. They feel the pressure, they make mistakes. So eventually the damn wall's got a crack, and you can see their time in front. Gold Coast have weathered the game. They've really controlled the game. But that means nothing if you can't end up with the 4 points at the end. So now they've got a challenge on their hands. How do they respond? Because it's been going their way for the majority of the game so far.
Miller looks like he wants to get back out there. Sexton is the medical sub. Loney for the Saints. So 3 in a row to open the term for St Kilda. After the Gold Coast finished with 3 in a row in the third term. Bytel, everything going the Saints' way now. Membry, Lemons, important battle. Lemons just scoops it back behind himself. Ballard bangs it off the ground. Clark, looping hand pass. Crouch from 50. It's low. It's another one for the Saints. 4 in a row. Crouch is up, and so's his side.
Don't underestimate the impact that Hunter Clark's having across half-back at the moment. He's been involved in multiple score chains in this last quarter here. His ability to slide behind the ball, but most importantly, his ability to use the ball by hand and by foot is the thing that's setting... He's probably the cream at the moment for both sides, and he's having a massive impact on this last quarter.
So parts of their game in the first 3 quarters they didn't have going are now starting to click. So clearance is 6-1. Ryder's starting to get on top around the centre bounces. The midfield is starting to be proactive around that area of the ground, which means they can cover the ground a lot better.
Now someone needs to stand up for the Gold Coast Suns. They've given up the last 4 in the match. The momentum is against them. Ryder bursts it out of the middle with a wobbly, dangerous ball forward. Steele, he's had a good afternoon. Gets rid of it by foot. Butler started it all going with the turnover. King nearly brought it to ground. Dangerous times for the Suns. Higgins goes off the deck. Doesn't make much purchase on it. The Suns are trying desperately to clear the defensive area, and that's good from home, and they get a bit of ball in hand, the Suns.
It's a mark they haven't been able to get this quarter, so the pressure is building. It's building. It's an important mark.
Holman.
Just gives you a chance to control the ball.
Ainsworth, this is an important ball. There's an opportunity now for the Suns through Anderson with a long ball forward. Doesn't really favour the Suns attackers. Dougal Howard with a big fist to the line.
Love to see Noah Anderson try and find something a little bit closer to him there to then access the back that Ben King, is trying to manipulate Howard into. So little short possession, then get it right out the back, closer to goal.
Jack Rebo alongside Geordie Lewis, Alistair Lynch. In a tight game, a 10-point lead to the Saints. They trail by 15 at 3/4 times. They've dominated the term. Membry.
8 clearances to 1, Howie.
It's a big advantage for the visitors. Another one the way of the Saints.
And that's what it does if you get dominance in the clearances. It means you get the ball going your way, but it puts the defence under pressure.
Problems here for the Suns. Ellis is undersized. King did everything but take the mark. Ellis did well in the end to halve the contest. Markov sprints out, takes the bounce, wobbles it out towards the wing. Coming back with a flight, Membry. That's courage, runs into his own man. Now King, that's Ben this time. The Suns move it forward through Holman. Corbett will get the free. This is what they need, the Suns.
The hand over the shoulder. If he can get up quick, he might find an option inside forward 50.
He's probably got to slow it down. The last shot when the ball was leaving D50, the Suns had about 10 blokes inside D50, so now they're getting forward. Got to see some movement now from the Suns forward. Can't just be a slow one.
And he can't just drop it on the line for a rush behind here. He'll struggle to get this journey. Got to kick from 55.
Kicked one in the third term. Corbett to drag the Suns back into it. Takes a bit off it. The right idea to Weller. He was defensively held. He'll come again here, Weller. The Saints might get out of it. Well done defensively, and Crouch to the wing. The sprint on, look at Hill, he goes and goes and goes. That is the talent of this man. Keeps the ball in as well. Not quite, but gee, had some legs on him, didn't he?
Yeah, love the effort, love the ability to close down the space, and might have been a little bit unlucky. The ball was only just out, but if he had have kept it in, it would have taken another 50 metres.
This is where he comes into his element now.
Miller back on.
Tuke Miller coming back onto the ground after that hamstring tightness. Both the big boys fall on the ground. Markov.
And still trying to clarify, but Rowan Marshall, about 2 minutes ago, limped from the ground with what appeared to be a lower leg injury, but he's still been assessed in the dugout and looks like he's actually about to come back on.
Thanks, Lynchy. Good news.
Well, we spoke about the clearances, 8-1 this quarter. Well, Tuke Miller being off is a big reason why they haven't been able to get their hands on the ball.
He's back on now. Here's Tuke. Crouch. Had a good last term. Handball hugs the boundary line. Markov. Now, this is an important possession. He dashes across half-back. He's going to have to go back defensively in the end. Didn't pull the trigger. Bowes measures it. It's good. Hits Ainsworth.
Well, this is where you do take risks. So you're 10 points behind with 4 minutes to go. You may as well lose by 20, 25 and give yourself a chance to get back into the game.
Farah! Powell did well.
I'd like to see some handball receives. Got to see guys like Markov, Ellis, Powell, those sort of guys. Lukosius getting the ball in, from handball receives here, getting the ball moving forward.
Can't get out of their D50 at the moment. The Suns. And then a contested Marcus and run. There is Markov, takes on a tackler. That's better. Lemons. Here's the hand pass chain you're after. Ellis, does he release by hand? He does. That's what you're talking about, Jack. To Miller, he's been a standout for the Suns. Sends the ball forward. Can they take the contested mark? Comes to ground. Moments in the game. They're all big ones now.
Just got to put the St Kilda defence under some sort of stress. So we've seen that they've traded up and come up the ground really aggressively, and they've been able to get out the back. You've still got to generate your scores that way, and handball receives is the best way to do it.
Graham has a spin in the ruck against Ryder. Paddy tries to grab it out. Greenwood dispossessed. Anderson couldn't get a possession. Players going everywhere now. Gold Coast just hustle the ball forward as best they can. Joyce sends it back the other way. Under 3 minutes on the clock. The Suns need to kick 2 late ones. Still they push through Swallow. Going the way of the Suns, so here's a chance against Joyce. Holman, can they take a mark? Ben King's kick 3. Gets through his hands. Membry's dropped into the defensive area. So the coach has made the change there. Ellis nearly got the turnover mark. 2.5 on the clock.
It was well read, because if Billings takes that mark, it just relieves all pressure from St Kilda, and then they can try and take time off the clock. So important decision from Ellis to come up and shut off that exit.
See Membry there on the point of the goal square. He's working back defensively. King down towards Howard.
The Suns have sent Markov forward here as well to equalise on Membry, so you can see Markov, who's been playing all day down the back line, now standing in the goal square.
Players all around the footy. There's massive jumpers in there at the moment. The Suns come, try and pressure Sinclair. He'll want to keep it in there. Spills out the back of his legs. Tunnel ball style. Webster with a clearing kick. Important for Powell. Couple of Suns fly. The big boy Collins stripped to the footy by Butler. Last chance saloon now for the Suns. Lemons in game 100. Just as out towards Powell. Can't break the Hill tackle. Lemons comes again. High ball deep. Suns need a mark. King's there. Comes to Rankin. Did he get one high? Umpire said no. Now Weller spits it back by hand. This man's dangerous in any position. Ainsworth. Again, Sinclair doesn't take possession. Still, the Suns come and they come and they come. Joyce stripped to the footy. Rankin, look for a second free kick. Miller at ground level. Bodies strewn everywhere. Pressure. Markov. Hurried snap out of the pack. Skinny.
There's carnage everywhere. Great commitment from both sides. One side's trying to win the game, and one side so desperately to save it.
Darragh Joyce came through like an absolute steam train there. Big, big moment.
It's just full commitment, isn't it? Both sides so desperate in this situation. Hopefully Holman isn't too bad.
So as Holman is hopefully being attended to and he's okay, Jack, you've got a minute and a half on the clock. You're the Gold Coast Suns. The Saints are in possession, kicking out from full back. You've got time to set up. What are you trying to do?
Well, firstly, it's sort of, I suppose, all system goes out the window here. You go one-on-one from the kick-in. But you've got to try and get the ball as live as much as possible. So if you do get a forward 50 stoppage, the want is to try and send everyone in to try and win it. You actually got to try and spread it out. You need space. So make the ground as big as possible. Make the stoppage as big as possible so that if you do get that clear possession, you can get the most value from it. And like Geordie said, you might as well go down by 16, 22 points here or win. Give yourself the chance to win.
Howie, you probably expect this kick to go long. So when the kick goes long, they're usually looking for their taller timber.
You see them starting to go, or everyone's coming over to this side of the ground.
So lock away the talls. Don't let them fly.
Howard does exactly as Jordan Lewis and Jack Riop said he would with the long ball. Big contested mark. Marshall could take another 20 off the clock.
Yeah,
now you got to find a man.
Yeah, that's the important part. You couldn't allow a tall to mark the ball. Had to be better in that situation. Now they get a chance to ice the clock.
Love Tim Membry's game in this last quarter. As you said in the call, Howie, unsighted, but 3 big contested marks now doing his role down back for them. Shows that you don't have to be having a great game to have an impact on the game.
Wilkie, time running out for the Suns. The Saints have kicked the only 4 goals of the term. They were 15 points down at 3/4 time.
And for the Saints here, they just have to protect the corridor side of the stoppage. Make sure Paddy Ryder's the king of flicking it out the back. He's on the other shoes on the other foot here.
Miller, Jones, Ellis, Rankin keeps the ball in, keeps it alive. Time ticks down towards 30 seconds. Saints through Membry. Had a quiet day, but Jackie's been great in the last term down back.
It's been very important, very important. Goal 200 next week, Howie.
Yep. Hit the post this week. Saints take on the Cats next week. Ben King's kicked 3. Max has got 1. And he's going to get another one over his brother. And Jones happy to take the time off the clock. To a contest on the line. Siren sounds. Last 4 goals of the match for the Saints. And they steal it from the Suns late. 9-point win.
Gutsy win. Gutsy win there.
It was when the day's not going your way and you just need to find something. And as you said, the last quarter they had to find something. So their pressure increased. Their ability to keep the ball inside their forward 50, give themselves repeat opportunities, meant that they won this game. It was a tussle. They didn't play their best footy, Saints, but sometimes you've just got to win ugly. And credit to the Gold Coast, they controlled the game for probably 3 quarters. Tuke Miller being outstanding for the Gold Coast Suns with 33 possessions again. It was probably when he was off the ground and St Kilda were able to get dominance around the clearances that they really gained that ascendancy, that territory battle that we always hear the coaches talking about.
Let's hear from Alistair Lynch.
Thanks, Howie, here with Jack Steele. We just thought that was a great win and a pivotal win after a slow start to the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, had a very slow start to the year and we wanted to earn back the respect of the competition. And the last 2 weeks we've come out and really played a brotherhood brand of Saints footy that we've wanted to get back to like we did last year. And yeah, it was very pleasing to sort of come from behind the last quarter and get the win.
Probably aesthetically it wasn't a pretty looking game. Looked like it was a real arm wrestle. Did you get the game on your terms? Is that what you wanted?
Exactly. We knew, we scouted them pretty well and how they've gone this year. And you know, they're pretty good at the contest and they're really good at grinding out games. So we knew it was going to be a really tough grind. But yeah, we just sort of had to keep running and keep cracking in, and we knew it would break them eventually, so it was good.
In through the midfield's always a tough tussle week in, week out, but if you haven't got your best 2 ruckmen playing, it's always tough. So you give Paddy Ryder a big embrace at the end of the game. You must be loving having him back.
Yeah, it is great to have him back, and he's obviously so important to our team, and he's such a great person as well to have around the club, so we're glad to have him back, and he's doing so much for us, so we love him.
So what's the feel amongst the group? How far can you go?
Yeah, we're just trying to get a bit of belief back. I think we lost a bit of confidence at the start of the year, and like I said before, we want to get back to how we played last year and get the ball rolling a bit more. So I feel like 2 wins has really built that belief, and hopefully we can roll into next week, next Friday against Geelong and bring it.
Yeah, well, great result and a very important win. It's got you 4-4 and sitting up near the top 8.
Love it.
Well done.
Cheers, mate.
Jack and Alistair. You see the King boys having a chat. Ben kicked 3 goals today. Max with a solitary goal in the second term. So it was the Suns by 7 at quarter time, all square at the half. 15 points the Suns at 3/4 time. In the end, though, the Saints with the last 4 goals win it by 9 points. Alistair Lynch.
Thanks, Howie, with one of the stars of the show. It must be great to be back playing football. You look like you're in great touch pretty much straight away.
Yeah, no, it's good to be back. You know, I love football and, yeah, I kept myself in good nick with the time I had off, so come back in and help to be able to play my role and help the boys out, something that means a lot to me.
Yeah, how much does it mean to get in back amongst the group and see the team that obviously was down when you were out, but to have back-to-back wins?
Yeah, it was tough to watch. The boys rely on myself and Rowan so much. You know, we give them so much out on the field, so it was tough to watch, see them go through a bit of tough few weeks there, but yeah, to get back involved, a couple of wins, it's good for the confidence.
And speaking of good for the confidence, when you're tired late in the game, you snuck one through to hit the front. How'd that feel?
You know, you just got to run in there and just have a crack at it sometimes. You know, if the small forwards and mids aren't getting it done, hey, it's got to be up to us ruckmen to get it done for them.
Yeah, well said. Outstanding game. Great to see you back in and playing some great footy. Well done, Paddy.
Just a shout out to the Fraser Street crew. You know, the support that I got over the break, to be able to come back, you know, freshened up and, yeah, enjoy all the support I get.
Well said, mate. Well done.
Great to hear from Paddy Ryder, and wonderful to see him with a smile on his face in game 259. That's his 182nd career goal, and it put his team in front. So the Saints came into it 3-4, as did the Gold Coast Suns. The Saints move up the ladder. They came into the round in 14th, the Suns in 7th, but the Saints now square the ledger at 4 apiece. And again, this tremendous rivalry between these two sides. Previous 4 games, 4 points, 4 points, 1 point, 2 point. Again, it's a single-figure result. St.Kilda by 9 points over the top of the Gold Coast Suns. The Saints take on the Cats next Friday night at Marvel Stadium, and then they take on the Bulldogs and North Melbourne. The Suns, well, it's the Q Clash next week. They take on Brisbane, and then they also have Geelong, who were running hot last night, and the Hawks for the Gold Coast Suns. So a lot to look forward to. The supporters of both sides, major possession winners. I heard the boys say how much they missed Tuke Miller when he was off the ground for a 7 or 8 minute period, just getting that tight hamstring attended to. Led all comers with 33 disposals. Swallow with 28, Power with 24, Markov with 23. And for the St Kilda Footy Club, Zach Jones, after his career high 37 last week, 30 disposals. Crouch with a really important goal in that last term. The sealer in the end, he had 30 disposals as well. Steele goes from strength to strength, a couple of goals for Jack Steele and 27 disposals. Billings, as always, effective around the footy with 25. Wilkie with 25. And Clark, as Jack Riewoldt said numerous times, brought his team back into the competition with 22 disposals. So the Saints leave, and their supporters will leave Metricon pretty happy with what they saw. It's only 1 goal in the first term. And then Suns got the jump. All square at half-time. The Suns by 15 after a 4-goal-to-1 term at 3/4 time. But St Kilda with the last 4 goals of the match through Billings, Higgins, Ryder and Crouch register their 4th win of the season as the Saints move their way into the room. Simon Lethern there in the background. Jones, as I said, full of possessions today. Joyce, the Irishman. Max King with a solitary goal. Dougal Howard, fantastic down back throughout the day. Higgins played an important part late in the game with a couple of important possessions and a wonderful goal. And it's the Saints, with their 4th win of the season, move up towards the top 8. St Kilda 4 goals in the first 3 quarters, 4 in the last quarter, unanswered. St Kilda 8-15-63, getting over the top of the Suns, who led by 15 points at 3-quarter time, 7-12-54. In front of 9,271 people, St Kilda take the victory on the coast by 9 points. And it all got pretty tight in the end. Sarah Jones.
Thank you very much, Mark Howard. Yes, a super win by the St Kilda Football Club, a come-from-behind win. They certainly had to show plenty of grit and determination. Jack Riewoldt and Jordan Lewis, they're a different side with Ryder and Marshall in amongst them. What did you